Hello guys and welcome to another MK Mobile video. Today we're talking about the top 10 best diamond teams in the game. When I say diamond team, I mean one of the preset teams in the game, MK11, Circle of Shadow, Strike Force, etc. Very important notice in the beginning before I actually start with the ranking itself. I won't be ranking the teams based on the number of characters. If I was to do that, then the MK11 would be the obvious winner. Instead, I want to find out which one of the diamond teams can form the absolute best team in the game. And of course, I know there isn't really a perfect team in MK Mobile, but some of the teams that you're about to see come really close. Let us begin. And ranking at number 10 is almost the worst diamond team in the game, the Assassin team. Now, to be honest with you, I don't consider them to be horrible. They have very strong synergy between them. The problem with the Assassin team is the fact that they have Assassin Kitana, which is one of the worst diamonds in the game. Still though, she's quite useful inside the Assassin team. And the next problem with the team in general is the fact that they are very reliant on chance. If Assassin Jade passive really works and Assassin Jade is on fire, the team rocks. If the Assassin Jade passive doesn't really trigger, then the team is quite underwhelming. So generally speaking, the Assassin team is a risky team. It isn't bad by any means, but just the teams that are going to follow are simply better. Ranking at number 9, guys, is the Ronin team. This is probably the most hated team by the MK Mobile community for some reason. Probably the reason lies in the fact that this team doesn't have any defensive mechanisms. There is nothing that can protect them in their kit. And on top of everything, they don't have a single unblockable special attack. We're talking about Ronin Kenshi, Ronin Takeda, and Ronin Kitana. None of those guys have a single unblockable special attack, which can be a problem. But generally speaking, if played correctly, the Ronins are a force to be reckoned with. Again, the biggest problem with them is that, unlike more or less every other team, they don't have a single defensive mechanism, so in a way they are all or nothing. If you play them correctly and you have luck here or there, you can destroy everything, but if you make one mistake, you can easily lose one of your teammates, which is a big problem. And coming in at number 7 is the Black Dragon team. The Black Dragon team is a pretty solid team. It has 4 members, so you can choose, depending on the situation, which one you're going to use. It is a team that has Kane that can easily start with an X-Ray. It is a team that has Tremor, which is one of the best, if not the safest starter in the game. Thanks to his passive, he can resist more or less anything. The biggest problem I have with the Black Dragon team and why it didn't really rank higher on really the ranking is the fact that this team doesn't really excel in anything. I wouldn't call the Black Dragon team the best team. I wouldn't call the Black Dragon team the worst team. It is somewhere in the middle, and again, in my opinion, it doesn't excel anything with 2 very decent characters inside. This is Black Dragon Cabal and Black Dragon Erin Black. They are both great. They can be used in many situations, but at the end of the day, once again, they don't really excel anywhere. And coming in at number 7, it is the Classic Movie team. Now, this is a very weird team because it has 2 really strong characters, Classic Movie Sonya and Classic Movie Raiden, and a 3rd character, Classic Movie Johnny Cage, which isn't really incredible, definitely not a trash one though. So what I'm trying to get is the fact the Classic Movie team exists. However, it has super weak synergy. The thing that elevates it in the ranking though is the fact that 2 of the characters are quite good. In a way, Sonic can easily gain a shield for 0.5 bars of power. Raiden is one of the best fighters in the game. It has a devastating special too, and if you need dots, then you can easily call Johnny Cage and more or less make sure the enemy is bleeding or he's set on fire, you name it. So at the end of the day, this team doesn't really have synergy, but it has very strong characters, and also it literally has anything in the game. Unblockable special attacks, heals, shields, it also has dots, everything that you ever want in a team. And coming in at number 6, the Day of the Dead team. Now, first thing first, those guys look awesome. Second thing, they have pretty good synergy. And third thing, this team is exceptional in the crypt. This team is great in survival mode. Unfortunately, it isn't really that good in towers. it can still do the job, but there are better alternatives. This team has one of the best supports in the game. They have the Kitana, it has one decent fighter, they have the dead Jade, and it has one very good fighter, they have the dead Erin Black. So at the end of the day, those guys form a force to be reckoned with. Definitely one of the very best teams, especially when it comes to survival type of game modes. And coming in at number 5, the Circle of Shadow team. It has 7 members, which is quite a lot, and you can choose, you can decide what your team needs. So in a way, the Circle of Shadow team is quite a flexible team. It has very good characters such as Circle of Shadow Lucane, Circle of Shadow Nightwolf, who by the way is great in a lot of teams. He doesn't have to be in a Circle of Shadow team for him to function. So at the end of the day, a very, very flexible team that can work in more or less every single game mode. Definitely deserving a place in top 5 best diamond teams in MK Mobile. And coming in at number 4 is the Cold team, or as previously known, the Cold War team. Now this is one of the very best defensive teams in the game. Of course, this team can do a lot of damage, but every single time when you use it, you're more or less safe, thanks to the fact that you have ice armor that prevents you from taking almost any damage from special attack. And the best part about this ice armor is the fact that you can recharge it by doing special too. That is super, super awesome. In fact, this team has Cold Scorpion, who is probably the best spear spammer in the game, meaning that he can spam special 1, keeping the enemy stunned forever. It has one of the best supports for this particular team, which is Sonya, and it has of course Sub-Zero, who can increase the power generation. Also Scarlet is decent, she isn't really horrible, but in my opinion she's the worst member of the Cold team. Definitely useful in certain situations though. So at the end of the day, the Cold team ranks at number 4. Alright, we got to the top 3, and coming in at number 3 is the Strike Force team. Now the Strike Force team can be even ranked at number 1 or number 2. I know definitely some of you will rank this team at number 1. The thing that separated the Strike Force team from number 1 is one particular character, and this is Strike Force Cassie, which isn't really that great. The teams that follow will consist of 3 godlike characters. For the Strike Force team we have godlike Johnny Cage, we have godlike Scorpion, and definitely not godlike Cassie. She is not horrible by any means, but at the same time she isn't great. And this is the only problem I have with the Strike Force team. You can even make the case that Strike Force team is the best team for survival mode, and I will agree, but generally speaking I would place it at number 3 with very, very, very little difference between the Strike Force team and the teams that are going to follow. And the runner-up of the video is the MK11 team. Now the MK11 team is a godly team, it has everything. It has 13 members, so in a way it is the most flexible team in the game. However, the only reason why the MK11 team didn't rank as number 1 is because it doesn't matter which variation of the MK11 team you get, it won't be better than the team that's going to follow. This is the only problem with the MK11 team. Granted, probably you can argue that it is more flexible than the winner of the video, but we are talking about which team can form the generally best team in the game, and I'm not convinced that the MK11 team can do that. Apart from that, again, 13 members, the most flexible team in the game. This team has answer for everything. However, again, it cannot form, in my opinion, of course, the absolute best team in the game, which is its biggest flaw, if it can be even called as a flaw in the first place. And this brings me to the next topic, which is the worst diamond team in the game, the team that ranked as 11th and never made it to the video. And of course this is the Nightmare team. The Nightmare team isn't really that great for a lot of reasons. The first reason is the fact that the synergy between the characters is really bad. I mean, there is almost no synergy between them. And the second reason is the fact that the 3 characters that form the Nightmare team are not really great at the same time. I mean, Freddy is pretty good, but Jason and Leatherface are not really great at all. And to be honest with you, if you want to build a good Leatherface team, or if you want to build a great Freddy team, you almost never use them in a Nightmare team, which says a lot about the strength of this team. But enough about that, because it is time to reveal our champion. And the winner of the video, the best diamond team in the game, in my opinion, is the Classic team. and the classic team in specific, classic Raiden, classic Rain, and classic Liu Kang. This is just unfair. Basically, this team is good everywhere. In the crypt, in survival, against bosses, against basically any tower fights. This team has everything. It has power drain, it has cripple on attack, it has team debuffs, tons of them, it has team soak, so you can basically kill the entire enemy team with a special too. So all in all, one of the, actually not one of the best team in the game. There are almost, and I say almost, no counters. The only real counter to this team is another classic team with classic smoke. Everything else is easy, and I mean everything else is easy. You have classic Raiden with unblockable special 2 and tons of damage on attack. You have classic Rain with unblockable special 2 and snare. You have classic Liu Kang. Basically, you have a team that consists of 3 characters and 3 characters that are in top 5 best characters in MK11, and this speaks for itself. Raiden is probably the 3rd or the 4th best character in the game. Rain, in my opinion, is the 2nd best character in the game, and Liu Kang is the 3rd or the 4th best character in the game. So it's really difficult to say which one is better, Liu Kang or Raiden. So at the end of the day, the classic team is the winner of this video as being the absolute best diamond team in the game. Alright guys, I hope you found this video useful, you had fun. Please let me know what is your best diamond team in the game, what is your ranking 10 to 1, and see you next time. Take care.
Perfect.